seconds left. Eagles by 8. Brady lines them up. He's back again. He steps up. He's hit. He stumbles. He is throwing it deep for the end zone, and it is batted around and incomplete. And the game is over. The game is over. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Aloha and hello out there, everybody. What's going on? This is Miho, as always, with Too Close to Call Sports, joined by my co-host Pags, and this is the Road to Victory podcast, where we're talking birds. We don't really want to this week just because of that fucking debacle that was Sunday down in Miami. But I mean, dude, Fitzmagic does it again. This guy just beats us all the time, Pat.
What the hell is it with that dude? And it drives me crazy. He played the most games with a different team against the same opponent than anyone in NFL history, and that's against the Philadelphia Eagles. Pretty freaking wild. And I bet he has a winning record.
I think he's 3-3-1 now because I looked it up on Sunday. One of the group texts was like, does this guy always just own us? And it was talking about his time with the Bengals. And he was 2-3-1 going into that week or whatever it was. So he's right at 500, man, which is above probably his career winning percentage.
So he's part of the most rock bottom moments of my Philadelphia Eagles fandom. When we tied the Bengals, it was like, oh my God. And then we freaking lose to the Miami Dolphins, fresh off a Dallas Cowboys loss to the freaking Buffalo Bills on Thanksgiving. Everyone's feeling great. And then they go out and give that poop effort.
Yeah, I think that was a double-edged sword there, man. Because Dallas lost Thursday, this game on Sunday no longer really had consequences. Like, they were able to lose this game and still win out and make the playoffs. So do you think that, like, demotivated the guys watching the game Thursday? Because you know they're watching it with their families.
I don't know necessarily if that demotivated them. I think just watching film all week of this terrible Dolphins team and just saying, oh, we could just show up. And everybody knows in the NFL, you can't just show up, no matter how bad a team is. And if you give teams life and they keep hanging around and their fans start getting into it, you know you're in trouble. And that's exactly what happened on Sunday. It was inexcusable. The team needs some major changes before they even want to even sniff the playoffs. I just never thought we'd be in this moment in this 2019 season.
I mean, how does Schwartz just continue to play one-on-one on the outside with 6'3" Devontae Parker just jumping up and catching everything, and 6'7" Gesicki doing the same thing, man? It was like, how are we not making adjustments?
Yeah, and even to pip off that, how many times was there one-on-one balls where their corners knocked it out of our players' hands? It felt like every single time their players went up for one-on-one balls, they caught it. It was just like, oh my God, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, Zach Ertz in the end zone at the end was the main one where I was like, you got to be kidding me. They've made these catches all day, and then one goddamn time in the end zone, you can't come down with it. How about Ertz having one of the worst games of his career?
Drops.
Yeah, what's up with that, man?
Oh, dude, that was the turning point of the game right there. Wentz throws a strike to him. He drops it, which is probably a touchdown, if not a touchdown, a first down. Then Wentz gets sacked the next play. Then Elliott, who's been perfect, and they kept telling us he was perfect, freaking misses one. And it's just like, oh, my God. That was the turning point of the game right there, my man.
Now we got ourselves a 5-7 football team with a report from Chris Mortensen for ESPN that's saying if the Eagles don't make a run here to and in the playoffs, we're going to have significant, and I'm doing the air quotes for everybody out there, significant changes to the coaching staff. And, dude, it can't be Doug Peterson. I mean, the guy won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. He's still good, right?
I would guess. I mean, Doug's starting to get on my nerves. This really pissed me off with Doug. On 4th and 4, on the goal line, how in hell, when their offense comes out in that weird formation, do you not take a timeout and be like, hey, this might be something weird. Let's take a timeout and think about this really quick. They make no adjustments. That fucking punter throws a touchdown pass, and you don't take a timeout?
See, I have high standards, Pags, because I think it's as simple as you look at their formation, you know who's on the line of scrimmage, you know who's off the line of scrimmage, you know who could be an eligible receiver. Josh Sweat, you're standing across from the punter who's clearly not on the line of scrimmage. That means he's allowed to run downfield. Therefore, stay with your fucking guy. Be disciplined enough to know what's going on. You got to have somebody in each little bunch who's the leader of the group. Malcolm Jenkins going 21-14 can run downfield. Everybody good? You get it? Okay. This ain't rocket science. If they're on or they're off, that's the option we have here. So it was literally one guy, and Doug said this Monday morning without trying to throw Josh Sweat completely under the bus, was just like, it was a lack of discipline from, honestly, one guy who was supposed to have the punter, tried to go tackle the guy like an idiot, and then the punter's open. He's your man. What are you doing, bro? It's not that hard.
Yeah. I just felt like you needed a timeout there to remind Josh Sweat of that, because he's a younger player and he needs to know that.
That's the shit I'm getting sick of.
That's the coaching side of me.
I don't know. Is Bill Belichick calling a timeout there, or is he just cutting Josh Sweat on Monday because he screwed up?
Belichick's calling a timeout. I guarantee it.
I'd be interested to look into that, because I feel like the hard-ass coaches would be like, we coached you on this, do your job. Why do I need to burn a timeout because the other team comes out in a funky formation? It's a close game. I may need this timeout later.
Yeah, it was the first half. Take a timeout, Doug.
Take a timeout. Talk to him. I get that. But like we said, this report's out there where these coordinators apparently could be on the chopping block. And I get it from the offensive side with Mike Groh, and obviously the offense now for a couple of years not performing. And if they do move on from Groh, all I'm saying is I just need some outside eyes coming in, man. Like, everybody wants Deuce Staley, and I just think another internal promotion isn't going to do any help.
No, it cannot be an internal job. We tried that, didn't work. I mean, even if this team, I know the Mortons have said unless they go for a deep run, either way, I feel like he needs to go. Because I can't handle these 8-8, 9-7, sneaking into the playoffs, getting hot late. And I need it back to the days of, we won the division, we got home field advantage. That Doug said that's the new standard. Well, that needs to be the fucking standard here.
Hey, we're back to the 6 to 10 plays is the difference between 6 and 10 and 10 and 6.
No doubt, man. That has never been more true than this season.
But if it's not Deuce, then who is it? Who are you bringing in here?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that my boy, Joe Brady, played college football together at the College of William & Mary, has completely taken the college football dynamic by storm. And I know from anonymous sources that his line is blowing up. He's focusing on the SC Championship right now. We all know that. We would expect that out of him. But I would not be surprised if this man gets a job in the NFL next year. He learned under Sean Payton, learned under Drew Brees for 2 years with the Saints, brought what he knew to LSU, turned Joe Burrow into the Heisman favorite, winning people lots of money. Whoever thought it was a great idea to put money on him winning the Heisman. But I would not be surprised if he comes to the NFL, and I would love for the Eagles to grab him, because I would love for him to get his hands on Carson and just kind of mold him into the quarterback I know Carson is.
Joe Brady, dude, you think he's ready to be an OC in the NFL?
Dude, this kid works harder than anyone I've ever met in my life. He is a stud. And if we don't grab him now, somebody else is going to, and it's going to be a problem in the future for the Birds. If we have this time to grab him and bring him in, you got to act now. It's a younger league. You're looking for fresh eyes. There's the freshest eyes of all.
So let me ask you this. obviously at LSU, he's lighting it up as essentially the offensive coordinator. And offensive coordinators from big-level colleges then typically become head coaches at big-time colleges. You know, maybe not Alabama, but certainly think Moorhead from Penn State to Mississippi State. Wouldn't you think that would be the move for him? Like, why are you saying NFL? Is it because of the Saints experience? Like, what's your gut telling you there for his move in his career?
I know for a fact that I've spoken to him about it, and I know his main goal is to be in the NFL. That's where he always wanted to end up. And if you take a head coaching job when OC jobs are open for you in the NFL, if your main goal is to be a head coach, well, then you need to jump on that and become into the NFL right off the bat here, rather than going to a job as at a college trying to rebuild a Mississippi State or whoever, say Tennessee, trying to rebuild a Tennessee program. I think your best option, if your main goal is to become an NFL head coach, I think that is the route you go. And don't forget, William & Mary produces NFL head coaches. Mike Tomlin, Sean McDermott, Dan Quinn. Blueprint is there for Joe Brady to join the William & Mary Mount Rushmore of NFL head coaches.
Oh, there's 3 other ones. I always forget Quinn. I always remember Tomlin and McDermott, but can't remember Quinn. So, yeah, you're right. And I don't know what other OC positions are going to be available. Like you said, his phone's ringing, so we're going to have competition for Mr. Joe Brady as Eagles fans. You're going to have what? The Dallas OC available? Who else is looking for jobs? Do you think Philadelphia would have a chance? Obviously, the selling point would be trying to work with Carson Wentz and quote unquote resurrect his career since he's clearly regressed.
That, and I think the battle with Philadelphia is going to be is that Doug's going to call the plays, and sometimes younger guys want to be that guy that step in, but at the same time, he's not calling the plays at LSU right now. He's formatting the plays for the other guy to call the plays. So maybe he wants to try that, maybe he doesn't. I think Doug might be a deterrent for some OCs, so it'll be interesting to see what happens if he could come there. But if he doesn't come there, do you got some other names that could potentially jump in here?
Well, we've seen some other guys like Jay Gruden, the guy smoking dope, hitting on college chicks. I wouldn't mind having that kind of swagger in the offensive
sign
room.
Me up. Go, Jay.
No, he's a West Coast guy, right? A very similar style of offense that Carson's run, so it certainly makes sense a couple of times. But obviously the optics in Washington for his tenure weren't great, and Kirk Cousins was always so, his name really isn't the best. But, we could welcome back Pat Shurmur if he's more your speed.
Oh, no thank you. I'm good on Pat Shurmur. We were at that NFC Championship game against the Vikings. No thanks, Pat.
No thanks. So that's the thing, man. Freddie Kitchens from the Browns, I think they'll keep him in Cleveland, but he could be another name. I don't know if there's hot up-and-comers. Brady really is kind of that hot name really out there. I don't know a lot of quarterbacks coaches in the NFL who's, you're hearing buzz about here, even with a new opening available in Carolina.
Let me give you 2 names here that why Jay Gruden, I think, would be great. Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. The Redskins are such a terrible organization ran by the worst owner in football. Yes, I think he's worse than Jerry Jones. I think
Hey, Jerry Jones is general manager.
What'd you say?
Jerry Jones is a general manager.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, well,
don't
you
shoebox him as an owner. He's a GM too.
He looks like Skeletor is what he looks like. I think that the Redskins are such a bad organization. Anybody that goes there is going to fail. I would love to have Jay Gruden in as the OC. Anybody other than Mike Groh, because Mike Groh is on my last nerve. It all goes back to last year where they couldn't, quote unquote, integrate Golden Tate into our fucking system. You got to be kidding me. The guy's making plays for a 2-10 Giants team, and you couldn't integrate him into your system in the middle of the year last year? Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that pissed me off about a year later when Mohamed Sanu got traded to New England and then caught like 12 balls in 4 days later and was like, Holy shit, you can integrate people into the offense. What are we talking about, Crow?
Throw him the ball.
Oh,
Driving
shit.
me nuts.
But, dude, Jim Schwartz. Where do you stand on Jim Schwartz? Because he's a love or hate kind of guy for Philadelphia Eagles fans.
I like Jim Schwartz. I think he's a very good football coach. I think he needs to stay as a DC. I remember all the years where we were terrified we were going to lose him. And every year, it seems like he ain't going anywhere. I don't know, man. I understand after the Dolphins game where you're like, what the hell are you doing? But there's been other games where he's completely changed it. And you could say it ended up hurting you in the Falcons game where he decided to go blitz heavy, which he never does. And it ended up burning you on that screen to Julio. But I think Jim Schwartz is a very good coach. And with what he's got, he's been doing a very good job. I mean, the outlier is the Dolphins game, obviously. They were decimated at the beginning of the year. But other than the Dolphins game, I mean, they hold the Seahawks to 17 points. You hold the Patriots to 17 points. I mean, he's doing what he's got to do.
I'm on the fence.
It's just,
I
don't know.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with Jim, too. I can understand.
I wouldn't mind fresh eyes, though, on the defensive side.
I can understand that, too, potentially. It's one of those things where with the wide nine, he's one of the few coaches that coaches the wide nine, depending on where you stand kind of on that defensively as well, and plays a lot of man-to-man. He likes to play single high safety. And basically every now and then you got to rotate that second safety back, but he loves to get Malcolm up in the box and just it's little things with Jim and his stubbornness where you're just like, what the fuck, man? I don't know. But basically I think his name's coming under a little bit of heat there just due to what could be some options on the market. And obviously the latest one being Ron Rivera and his ties to Doug Peterson, Andy Reid, that whole, coaching tree. And then if Dan Quinn gets canned by the Falcons, obviously he was the DC in Seattle who was pretty good. So you're going to have a lot of good defensive-minded coaches available to potentially choose from here moving into next year.
That'll ultimately be the deciding factor if Doug thinks he could get a Ron or Dan Quinn into Philly. I think that'll ultimately be the decision. I get this kind of feeling that Jim Schwartz kind of just dismisses Doug and kind of just like, I got the defense, you handled your offense, which doesn't work when you're a head coach. You need to be able to go up to the DC and be like, hey, what the hell are we running here? We need a game plan here. Like, what are we doing? And I think if Ron Rivera would come in, they would have that rapport together where they've worked together in the past that could potentially pay dividends for the Eagles.
Yeah, you didn't see Dougie running up to Schwartz on Sunday going, please double-team Parker for the love of God.
Seriously. And that's where that stubbornness comes in, and it hurts him. So, who knows, man? I think the whole team needs some fresh eyes. I'm even starting to cool on Doug Peterson. If you listen to the radio, man, people are calling for his head. And the points they make sometimes are hard to dispute. And I don't know, man. It's just it's a weird situation right now. You obviously don't fire Doug this year. Give him another year, and I think that's where Doug's going to make the changes because, hey, if he doesn't make changes and he rides with these guys again and they have another middling season, it could be his head as well. So you got to make changes as a head coach if you're not seeing any progress on any side of the ball.
Yeah, we saw that even go up the ladder to the general manager for the Flyers. Nobody wanted to make any changes anywhere, so they just kept going higher and higher. But I agree with you.
That's pretty good right now.
Right? But yeah, exactly. That's worked out, so hopefully it'll be the same. But with all that said, man, I'm looking at the schedule right now in front of me. I'm staring at 4 divisional games in what is literally historically the worst division ever since they went to the 4 divisional format type of thing, literally the lowest winning percentage. It's wild. That's a fact. I saw that out there. But can we win all 4 of these games? Is that it's doable, right?
Most definitely, you can win. I'm saying it with a little bit of lack of confidence after what I just saw on Sunday.
Dude, the Dolphins in Miami was maybe the toughest game left out of the 5.
You're going to say that statement when we have Dallas coming in a couple weeks.
Dallas kicks our ass, but
forever.
Dallas kicks our ass, but apparently they lose to everybody else.
And I think they're going to lose on Thursday. I think they're going to lose to the Bears.
And then I think the
they might even
Rams are
lose
going to
the
beat them.
Rams.
The Rams are, like, it's just, and then they're going to kick our ass. I'm not going to understand it.
They're going to have a 3-game losing streak, and we're going to get them coming into Philly all pissed off. And
Right.
It's like, fuck.
It's like, oh, man. But, it's just, oh, my God, man. Craziness. If the
Do we have
Birds,
any faith of that?
dude, if the Birds are going full 2019, they'll beat the Giants Monday, look good, have a good time, then they'll go to Washington and dump that game.
See, I think it's beat the Redskins. This is full Eagles fashion right here. Beat the Giants, beat the Redskins, beat the Cowboys, lose to the Giants week 17.
Oh, there you
And
go.
Dallas goes 2-2 down the stretch and wins the division.
And Dallas loses to the Redskins at the end, and we backdoor sneak in, baby. Let's go.
Hey, there it is.
I don't know if that's possible. They'd have to lose. Well, if we would have beaten them, we would have had to lose out. So.
Well, let me ask you this question. Now that we know how this season has panned out so far, we're 5-7. Is it possible to have a successful season? And is it as easy as a successful season being Carson Wentz stays healthy for 16 games and they win the division, losing the first round of the playoffs?
Yeah, that's success as of where we are right now. It would not have been as of September.
That's what I'm saying.
Right now, realistically,
that was a successful year.
Yeah, realistically, looking at this team right now, it's apex, or like the furthest we could ask for is exactly what happened last year. They would be the 4 seed. You would somehow beat Seattle, Minnesota at home. Then you would go to San Fran, Seattle, lose that game. That would be ideal. Carson Wentz wins a playoff game. A successful season would still be getting to the playoffs and allowing him to play in a playoff game, because this is like, when you said stay healthy for 16 games, personally, I don't think that matters at all. I'm not an injury guy. Like, oh, he stayed healthy. Like, yeah, somehow in the universe, he didn't get hit in 1 degree different for his knee or something to crack. Like, it's football. You either get hurt or you don't. Like, you're not successful at not getting hurt. Like, it's just, that's not a statement I think exists in people who understand football. So basically, when it comes down to it, whether he makes the playoffs or not, because if he doesn't, man, that's 4 years where he hasn't made the playoffs. And he's already 27 or 28 because he was a 5th-year senior. Like, he's not a kid who comes out at 21 and now he's 25. Like, all of a sudden, man, we're in the middle of his prime here, and he doesn't have any of that experience. So what makes me confident that all of a sudden we're going to make a Super Bowl run? Like, I think I have to dial back my expectations at that point to just being like, dude, just win the NFC East, man. You haven't done that yet.
Well, he did do that. He won the NFC East in 2017.
Yeah, I guess technically.
Beating the Rams, that was the clincher.
That was
he
the
didn't
clincher.
finish that game.
I was saying he played enough to qualify for a win in that one as well. I'm not sure. I think that may have been a comeback
4
win on
touchdown
Foles'
passes.
record.
It's all right in front of them, and I actually do believe they will make the playoffs. I think that
There's no way, man. They
the
look so
Dolphins
bad.
game is going to be that eye-opening experience that a team needs. Get the dog mask back out. They seem to play better when people doubt them. I think you get the dog masks out. You got the Giants coming into town. You whoop them. You whoop the Redskins, and then it comes down to Dallas, and you just hope that you show up for that game, and I think it's all going to be decided week 16.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We thought it was going to come down to that and be the difference between 12-4 and 11-5, but it may be the difference between 8-8 and 7-9. Either way, we'll hopefully get ourselves a playoff game down on Broad Street later in December.
Yeah, the only way I want is either make the playoffs at 8-8 or 9-7, whatever you do, or go 5-11 and get a good draft pick. That's the only way I will be happy with the end of the season.
Yeah, we're probably going to end up somewhere in the teens.
Yep, it's going to be annoying.
And then they're hopefully trade up for a receiver.
Yep, that's another podcast for another day, though.
That's it. But that's wrapping up this edition of the Road to Victory podcast here with Too Close to Call Sports I'm Miho, as always, joined by my co-host Pags. We appreciate you guys listening out there. Do us all a favor, head to Instagram, head to TikTok, head to Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, rate, do whatever you got to do, follow, I guess, whatever the hell it is. We also got a website, www.tooclosetocallsports.com, writing some blogs, hopefully get some articles up there a couple times a week, give you guys our thoughts, what we're looking into. Continue to move forward here, spreading the word. We appreciate it, as always. Hopefully you guys had a great Thanksgiving holiday, and man, we're already into December, the last month here of the season.
Unbelievable. We will catch you guys later, hopefully with the Birds win. Later.
Peace.
9 seconds left. Eagles by 8. Brady lines them up. He's back again. He steps up. He's hit. He stumbles. He is throwing it deep for the end zone, and it is batted around and incomplete. And the game is over. The game is over. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.